a better part of a decade. This is the hottest I've ever started. 3 back-to-back-to-back winning weeks. I feel these are the best picks I've had this year. And so without further ado, our Blazing 5. All right. I'll take the Raiders -2.5 to win by more than a field goal. Listen, they're not an awful 0-3 team. They've led every game going into the fourth quarter. Derek Carr's completing over 75% of his throws. This is a very competent offense, and they've got good backs. They have not sealed up games. And going out to Miami in that oppressive heat in September and losing to a good Dolphin team is nothing to be embarrassed about. Listen, I like Baker Mayfield, okay? It's been fun. But the number 1 overall pick in their first career start, dating back 15 years to 2003, are 0-10. Starting quarterbacks, first start, number 1 picks are 0-10 in their first starts. Oakland is at home. They're the better team. They're not an awful 0-3. I'll take the Raiders to win 28-20. I can't believe Indianapolis isn't favored by more than 1 point. It's Colts -1. Listen, Chris Ballard, the GM of the Colts, told me in the offseason, he goes, I think our defensive front's a little better than people think. They're tied for 4th most sacks in the NFL. They don't have a superstar, but the Colts are playing very, very sound fundamental football up front. Again, it's not perfect. They don't have an Aaron Donald. They don't have a Von Miller. But they've been surprisingly good, and the Texans have given up a league-high 33 quarterback hits this season. That may be the worst offensive line in the NFL. And the pass defense this year for Houston, what's going on? I got a team that I think feels good about themselves. The Colts at home only having to give up a point. I'm going to take Indianapolis to win this thing comfortably, 33-26. This is going to be ugly. I mean, turn away, don't watch. Bad offenses, terrible offensive lines, rebuilding football teams. But Arizona's getting a field goal. And at home, they've always been sneaky good. Chandler Jones, over the last 3 years, he actually leads the NFL in sacks? He does. Khalil Mack's behind him. Von Miller's behind him. And Seattle struggles to block elite pass rushers. Anytime you have 2 ugly offenses who are really rebuilding, and I'm going to get a field goal with a home team, I'm going to take it. This is going to be really ugly. I'm going to take Arizona, kind of an upset win, 24-23. Josh Rosen wins. Giants historically start slow and end strong. I'm getting 3.5 with the New York Giants. Like it, I love it. Listen, New Orleans is a different team on the road. This is back-to-back roadies. Over the last 7 to 8 years, even with Drew Brees, they've generally been poor, forget points, just straight up, in back-to-back road games the second game. And their defense is last or next to last in points per game allowed, yards per game, and takeaways. This is not a defense playing well. And here's what I know about the Giants. Saquon Barkley's the first Giant with 100-plus scrimmage yards in each of his first 3 career games. He's a real weapon. Now, I wouldn't have taken him with my number 1 pick. I would have taken Sam Darnold. But the Giants are going to win this game, and the Giants are getting 3.5 at home. I love this pick, 28-27 New York Giants. Been saying it, Joey, since the preseason. Baltimore's the best team in the NFL that nobody's paying attention to, but they're not flashy. They're not the Rams. They're not the Chiefs. They're not the Steelers. They don't have Brady. They're really good, but they drafted 2 tight ends, and they went and acquired 3 new wide receivers. And my thing was, just wait until Thanksgiving. This is going to be a Super Bowl-level team, but they're not flashy. They're kind of rebuilding their offensive parts, but defensively, they're top 5 in points, yards, passing yards, yards allowed per play. That's a big Vegas stat. Baltimore's always good defensively. They're incredibly sound there again this year. By the way, though, sneaky good offensively. Here's an amazing number. Ravens have scored a touchdown on all 12 of the red zone drives, 12 for 12. They're better offensively than you think. Sunday Night Football. Baltimore goes into Pittsburgh and beats the Steelers 27-23. Those are my Blazing 5 picks. By the way, I've got my Baker moneymaker.
Oh.
Okay, last week I took Cleveland, and Baker paid off because I didn't know he would play. My bet of the week is the Raiders. I think people
are rooting against
you
Baker.
know what it is? You got two things converging here. The narrative that Gruden's a dinosaur and doesn't know what he's doing. Offensively, they're fine. They're fun to watch offensively. So you got that narrative going, and then you have the narrative that Baker Mayfield's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Gruden can actually coach a little bit, and Baker's a kid, and the number's wrong, and so there you go. And hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.